right, welcome to Veterans at Rock. This is our 16th episode. My name is Sailor Scott. I'm a bass player here in New York for a couple bands, Mag Electric and Silver Dollar Generals. And my co-host is...
Hey everybody, I am Zach Rabbit, United States Air Force veteran and guitar shredding machine from the Spiders of HBG, and this is Veterans That Rock, the channel about veterans that, well, rock. Photography, actors, authors, name it, your type of culture, we want to cover it. Thanks so much for being a part of it. Make sure you hit that like, you hit that subscribe if you like what we're doing. Make sure you post comments. It's our community. We want to talk to you. Sailor Scott, who are we covering today?
Yes, today is a very special month because it's also my birthday and Zach's birthday. So happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday to us.
Yeah.
Another one down. It's a good April too. It's a good April for it.
Yeah, and we have a very interesting guest this month in what's April, our birthday months. Our guest is U.S. Air Force veteran Michelle Evans, and she is an author, and also she is a photographer, and also works with videos. So, yeah.
Michelle Evans is an author and United States Air Force veteran, most notable for writing the book The X-15 Rocket Plane, Flying the First Wings into Space.
Yeah, and I mean, we had to research because I was not familiar with the X-15 rocket plane. Um, just really quick to give you guys some knowledge on the X-15 rocket plane, I'm going to share this video describing the X-15 rocket plane, and here it is.
Stubby-winged X-15 is carried skyward by a B-52 mothership. Today it's planned to release White and his plane 45,000 feet over Nevada. Previously, the X-15 has flown 46 and 7/10 miles high and has hit speeds of 4,100 miles an hour. Once the X-15 is carried to the proper altitude, it will be released by the B-52 and its own engine will take over for the flight into space. And a space flight it actually is. Now the moment is at hand, and the X-15 roars free on a tongue of flame. The 57,000-pound thrust of its engine is to burn for only 81 seconds, but that power is enough to shoot the Major nearly 59 miles into space. Major White experiences 3 minutes of weightlessness, just as did the other astronauts who made orbital and suborbital flights. And when he re-enters the Earth's atmosphere for a landing, he undergoes 5 times the force of gravity. Major White is now eligible for astronaut wings, awarded to all pilots who fly higher than 50 miles. His speed during the flight was 3,700 miles an hour. Not a record, but he wasn't riding a local either.
That's right. Michelle Evans, along with being the author of the X-15 rocket plane, Flying the First Wings into Space, also has a background in aerospace engineering because of her training in the United States Air Force as a missile checker. Sailor Scott.
Yes, Michelle Evans is also the founder of Mach 25 Media, an aerospace-focused media company specializing in writing, photography, and video production, particularly regarding the X-15 program and space exploration. Yeah, her website's really great. We're going to list it here later and definitely check it out. It produces educational, documentary, and historical content serving as accredited media for NASA and Aerospace, which is very interesting. Yeah, we just saw that video, and that was in like either mid 50s, early 60s, where believe Michelle was brought on to Air Force bases from her father.
That's right. Michelle was born in 1955. It was in California to a Patricia June and Robert Bryce Evans. She was born in Upland, California, mostly being raised throughout California, living briefly in Colorado, but returning back and graduating from Aviation High School in Redondo Beach, California. Great skateboarding for anybody, like Skateboarding's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, having an aviation high school program sounds awesome. I mean, my school did not have that. And in a celebrity lecture series.
I think it might just be the name of the school. I don't know if it's like an act. I don't know if she like.
Yeah. So Michelle's father worked for Sangamo Electric, providing instrumentation tape recording systems to aerospace industry. When only 5 years old, Evans began going with him to Edwards Air Force Base, where she spent time watching the North American X-15 flights and meeting the pilots and crew.
To add to your point, Taylor Scott, there's actually a really great lecture that was given by Michelle for the Western Museum of Flight, where she kind of talks about that experience with the X-15s. I don't know if can we play that clip real quick?
On one such trip, my father's friend decided to take me to see the X-15 simulator, known as the Iron Bird. He knew it was in use and thought I might like to see it in operation. It was a long contraption with pipes and wires and sheet metal, looking like something a child such as myself might cobble together out of an erector set. We stood and watched for a bit, then the pilot finished his mission and exited the cockpit. And instead of walking away to some debriefing or to his office, he saw me and decided to come over and say hello. I have no idea who my guide was that day, but I will always remember that moment when he introduced me to the X-15 research pilot who had just exited the simulator. His name was Neil Armstrong. We also returned for the annual Edwards Air Show, and I always loved checking out these exciting aircraft. In school, I kept the dream alive about someday writing my book, but I had no idea that eventually my passion for writing would intersect with my fascination with the X-15. I spent several years taking journalism classes in junior high and high school, but when it came time to face the reality of college, I knew I had no money to pursue that goal. Because of that, my life took a major turn as I decided to join the U.S. Air Force.
In that same lecture, she goes on to say that she developed a love for literature and writing in kindergarten when the teacher would actually read stories to the class, and believed that it was a fascinating idea that you could, transport through time and space simply by reading. And that apparently really made them want to write a book for themselves, as you just heard. When they graduated high school, it all kind of clicked for them with the X-15. So that lifelong passion finally became a reality in this book.
Yeah, I've had the very similar experience. Like, I did not have money to pay for college, and so I went ahead and enlisted for the Montgomery GI Bill and the Navy College Fund. And, it worked. So kudos for, Michelle and us, for me, for thinking of it. And Zach, how does that factor with you in the Air Force?
It really does seem to be like a universal point with a lot of vets, is trying to reach for that next step in regular life by getting a college degree. There's all kinds of options and routes, while you're in, which is really nice. From, you can CLEP courses if you just want to kind of read the book and get it going, just finish that off. And then there's tuition assistance programs as well as the GI Bill. So, I mean, there's a lot of growth, I think, and availability when it comes to college. I mean, I obviously, there was a big factor when I was in, but I was told, at this time, which, would have been around 1976, I believe, retiring in 1980. But it seems that they did use the, ability, they used their college to go in a good direction.
Yeah, so she was assigned to the Fairchild Air Force Base in Spokane, Washington. She spent most of her Air Force service in Washington and was even on the base when Mount St. Helens erupted, which I have had no idea what, you know, is there a volcano in Washington that erupted?
Yeah, yeah,
That's crazy.
uh yeah, well, I mean, it's all on that line, like
The fault line.
yeah, I mean, obviously you have the big California one, but from what I understand, like that's also like part of a plate, and it's a whole like thing. It's crazy, but yeah, to be there, I mean, I'm pretty sure they said it went off with the force of like a couple of nuclear bombs. I mean, it was. I wonder if they were like doing disaster response. There isn't much information. Didn't really talk about it much, but fascinating to have been there for that kind of historical moment. And weird again that they always seem to be in these moments, find themselves in these historical times, literally like meeting Neil Armstrong. Sailor Scott, I don't know if you want to check out the video clip from that lecture series that where they talk about their military service a little bit.
About someday writing my book, but I had no idea that eventually my passion for writing would intersect with my fascination with the X-15. I spent several years taking journalism classes in junior high and high school, but when it came time to face the reality of college, I knew I had no money to pursue that goal. Because of that, my life took a major turn and I decided to join the U.S. Air Force. I figured I would learn some great skills and also be able to pay for my college as I served. My father was an aerospace engineer, and I never figured I would follow in his footsteps. I saw that as being a long ways from my goal of becoming a writer. Yet there I was working on nuclear missile systems, and yes, I'm actually sitting on a nuke right there, but we won't talk about that. And I worked there for 8 years on the Air Force. At one point, I felt I would make the military my career. But for various reasons, after I finished my degree, I eventually decided to go out on my own and return home to California. At that point, I went into vibration, shock, and acoustic testing for the aerospace industry for the next dozen years.
Yeah, so during her military service in the Air Force, she did focus on short range nuclear attack missile systems before being reassigned to missile checkout, which she felt was a less interesting job, and then motivated her to leave the Air Force in December 1980.
So this is kind of cool for me because this is also the closest that we've gotten to my job when I was in the military. Now I didn't handle any nuclear systems, but like they're literally left and right. We were in the same school building together, learning how the explosive trains for these weapon systems operate. I worked with conventional munitions, whereas Michelle worked with nuclear missiles and uranium tip stuff. In the Air Force, we usually said that the bulk of their job was just shining the missiles. And it's funny to me that she actually pointed out that I'm actually sitting on a nuke right here. I saw a brown band on there, and I don't even know how much I can say on the internet, to be honest. I mean, I know it's general information, but I'm not gonna be the one to confirm it, Sailor Scott. But I mean, it was weird to actually see that because I don't know, just wow, that's a cool picture. When they showed themselves at that time. Like, wow.
Yeah, and that was probably, she mentions she had a Kodak, some like old Kodak Instamatic camera when she was assigned to Fairchild. Um, when I was in the Navy, I also had, I was in I think the first digital camera came out while I was like in the Navy, so I just had like film cameras the whole time, disposable ones. Um,
Speaking of photography, as we mentioned before, there is a company that Michelle Evans started called Mach 25. And here's the website for you. You can see some of her photography work that she's done, as well as the books and products that they have to offer. We totally recommend checking that out. I'll just say some stuff over it while we're looking at it.
This is their website, Mach 25 Media. And here's, aerospace photography. I guess it's in here. I mean, that's crazy to be like, you took these pictures, like.
And again, to me, what I find so fascinating is that this veteran, it's not necessarily the after service, it's the pre-service, because they were involved with this historic program and are now, the professional on it, as well as helping keep, space and aeronautics, innovation and history alive by doing educational lecture series and different programs and things where people can see what it would look like to be in NASA, basically, seeing that side of science. I don't know. That's one of the things I like about doing the show with certain veterans is you just never know. These
Yeah, I mean,
some of the
she's
modeling
definitely,
photos.
yeah, very well versed. Like, I don't know if we should click on one of these, Zach. We could let the viewers in the audience visit her website, and then yeah, really cool.
So let me as a as was mentioned, they went on to do different. As was mentioned, Michelle went on to do different aviation work in her career after leaving the Air Force. A company called Endevco. They left there, worked for a year at another company as a technical writer, and formed the business Mach 25 Media in '93. And the company produces articles, editorials, magazines, newsletters, and online websites showcasing, the art you see before you. Throughout her career, Michelle has actually got a lot of really cool awards for the work that she's done, including the Diverse Community Leader Award from Orange County Human Relations. She was also listed on a list of 100 most influential people in Orange County. She's appeared in numerous publications, including Air and Space Smithsonian, Ad Astra, Orange County Register, Los Angeles Times, and the New York Times. She has had feature stories about her in both Times and Newsweek magazines, and was a technical consultant on Neil Armstrong's biopic First Man. There is actually a clip where she talks about going to meet Neil Armstrong for lunch and goes to the wrong house in that lecture series, which I totally say you should check that out if you have time.
Yeah, definitely check out it. We'll post a link to it also in this episode. Yeah, please make sure you look into Michelle Evans. She was also a technical consultant on the Neil Armstrong biopic First Man, and has consulted with the National Geographic Television for their documentary The Real Right Stuff. Really cool, worth checking out. And we have another exciting guest for the month of May, who is Jason Everman. Has anybody ever heard of Jason Everman?
Real quick before we get into that, though, once again, we appreciate everything you're doing for us. Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, leave a comment. This is our community. If there's a photographer, an actor, a musician, any kind of artist that we may not be thinking about, put them in the comments. We want to check them all out. Thank you for subscribing. Now, who the hell is Jason Everman?
Yeah, Jason Everman was a prominent Seattle grunge musician, and he was playing in these bands you might have heard of called Nirvana or Soundgarden, who actually left. I believe he left Soundgarden to join the Army Rangers. And we'll be talking about him in the month of May. So please, like Zach said, like and subscribe. Our Instagram handles are at the bottom of the screen here. You could follow us on Instagram and look into our endeavors, our musical endeavors, because Zach Rabbit and I are both musicians. And yeah, anything else, Zach?
We're going to rock out to Nirvana. See you next month.